this is Lisa. Thank you. Welcome back to my channel. And I hope you all love me lots, because I just videoed about 50 minutes of stuff and you guys couldn't hear a word of it. Because I didn't turn the mic on. Dummy. Okay, guys. I am having technical difficulty here. I just finished filming 50 minutes worth of stuff, and I noticed, I looked up and my plug for my microphone wasn't plugged all the way in. So I shut everything off, deleted that video, because I don't like doing the voiceovers. Drives me nuts. On the process I have to do it is, it's horrible. I'm sure there's a lot of easier ways, but you just get me again. And then when I turned the video back on, I noticed while I'm talking to you saying, oh my God, you guys gotta love me so much, because you're gonna be so mad at me because I didn't go over everything with you, but I didn't video it. But then I noticed I didn't turn my, I have a little on-off switch on the cord that comes around to my microphone, and I didn't have that turned on, so I was really going to double duty it here. Okay, so I made my closure. I totally blew through putting this on, and I was going to do my closure on this, so I didn't do that. So, because I forgot, and I didn't remember, and I had this on as well. So I am going to do this while we're talking. Then these two are some more of these little jobbies, and you're going to close it like this. Now I took 2 pieces of well, I used cardstock. It's a little thicker, but I just took 2, let me find a piece here. I just took 2 pieces, put a little glue on it, folded it over, popped a hole in it, and then cut a circle to put underneath each one of my brads, so that these little jobbies right here would be lifted up enough so that this is going to be easily run through. See how that ran through there without really catching on anything, and then it doesn't do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's how I did that, and then I just poked them through this blue paper and put them through. I put some score tape on the back just in that one area, and then I glued them down, and I glued these ribbons down, and I cut them so that they would look nice around these edges, and I took my lighter and just, gave them a nice edge so that they don't have a problem with coming apart and such. Okay, so for this I need a piece of my cardstock that's going to be, I'm running low on, I still have some that I haven't used, I think. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I've used them all. Did I use all that cardstock I had? Yeah, I guess I did. Except for this. I've been keeping tabs, and I'll show you. I've been keeping tabs on my, now, I don't call pieces that I don't cut, they're not scrap. Those will go back on my shelf for me to use another day. But all those other little pieces. And I think I've come up with something after this one that's going to be kind of cool for, well, one thing with my scraps is I'm going to make him a big card and put that video voice recorder thing in there. But I wanted to show you what I have left. I've got this one done, or all the papers in it. So I have, I did not pull out the second half of these, so I still have a whole bunch of this, which I really didn't want, but I had to add to my paper pack. So buying a 6x6 was the cheapest way to go. But so I have these still. So I've got some more little cards to cut out. And so these will come in handy when I'm making my tags and bits of ephemera. And then that's some of the 12x12. This is some of the 12x12. That's another 6x6. That's a piece from the 12x12. That was, you know, just that paper. And then this is a 12x12. And then that is what I have left. I used 3 of the 4, except for these. So there you go. So now you know where I'm at. And of course I have my little basket of scrap, which we are going to go through and utilize all of it. Where's my clippy thing? Right over here. Wah! Okay. So, and then I do have a little bit of paper over with my album because I want to, because that's what I'm going to use to decorate the outside. Okay, I'm going to cut myself a 1-inch strip, give or take a smidge. I'm going to cut it the same size as this paper. So super quick, easy way to doing that. Just like that. And we'll put that in our scraps. I'm going to ink all of these. I have been doing very well with inking. So you guys, even though you didn't see it, you will see it. You will, you will, you will, you will. Okay, and I didn't ink this one, but I think this one is inked. Yes, it is. I just keep forgetting that this is white core. I don't like white coarse cardstock. It drives me nuts. Because you got to ink everything as you're building the pages. And that's like icky. Okay, and I am going to score this at a 1/2 inch. There we go. Put this back. I'm gonna put my pin in my glue for a minute because it's been out for quite some time. And then we're gonna fold this in half, burnish it down. Now this is going to go on this blue paper. I'm just wondering if I have a strip that's too small. What is on the back side of this? Oh, that. Do I have any of that long enough? Any piece? Oh, poodle head. I don't seem to have any pieces. And, oh, I do have this. Is this going to be long enough? No. Poodle head. Daggum. All right, well, this will be close. This will be close. So I'm pulling this back out. I'm stealing it from myself. I'm going to cut myself about 3/8 of an inch. Let's see. Let's take this and measure it to it. Okay. There we go. I think that's going to be good. Okay. So we'll see what we can do with this. We'll see what we can do with this. Okay, a few things I wanted to tell you guys. First one is I started a Facebook page. I met this gal via YouTube and Facebook. Super, super sweet. Just love her. She's in Canada. And she helped me set up a Facebook group. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Because I don't really know how to do stuff in Facebook. So she set this whole thing up for me. And see, I'm just going to put that right there. And I think that's going to be okay. I think that's going to be okay. I am going to put this on the top so that when you flip it over, this is just a solid, nice piece. Okay? And I'll have to figure out what I'm going to put on that. But I think I will patchwork. I will patchwork the back of this. So that will happen a little later. And let's go ahead and just cut off little bits. Just a little bit from the corner in. Let me get that white core out of there. Okay. Now I'm going to open it up, and on the left inside piece, I'm going to put my glue. And I'm going to lay it right on the top. Of my tag. Now, and I told you the reason I'm doing this is so that it, get my rag. I have got to get a new rag. I've got more rags, it's just, these were my father's handkerchiefs. And so, you know, I washed them. I did wash them. Although right now you would think they were used. It got so much dried glue on them, it's not even funny. But yeah, that was my dad's. And so it's a nice soft cotton. So that's what I like about it. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and let's get these pieces layered down on it. And when you're not, when the piece is not going to be used in a way that is going to put pressure on it, or you don't have to use a boatload of glue. You certainly don't have to use score tape. I mean, this piece is not going to have any kind of tugging or pulling or anything on it. Ooh, little housekeeping, guys. I'm getting a little messy here. A little housekeeping. Okay. And but anyway. Okay, back to it's Lisa's Paper Lace and Bling. My Etsy shop, which is not open right now, and I don't know that I'm going to go back to Etsy. I'm going to have to do something because I'm getting so many things to sell. I'm just all over the place tonight trying to talk to you guys. Usually I don't have like news. I just have chit chat and it just kind of rolls as I'm going. So anyway, she helped me set this up and I'm so very excited. One of the first things that I'm wanting to do, and she's going to teach me how to invite people to it, is I want to try and do a swap. But the swap is going to be something that's going to go into a little padded envelope, probably the best thing. So postage is going to be next to nothing. And it's for brads, eyelets, buttons, and charms. How fun would that be? Huh? Because like the other day, I had to buy 20 charms because that's what the package had. 20 charms. But I only wanted like 5 of them. So isn't that going to be cute? I love that. However, I think it's not going to stay closed, but we'll see. I'm not going to actually glue it down yet because I may have to do a closure on this. So we're going to see. So I'm going to put this to the side. It will go on here. So let me go into this a little bit different. So anyway, that's what I want to do first. That's what I want to do first. Let's see. Did I have this? I think I did have this cut to go in here with the blue. Yeah. And did I ink it? Of course not. Of course not. Now that I'm at the back of the page, at the last page, and I have scrap, because I haven't filled in any of these strips that, you know, it's just blank paper, so it's boring. So let's cover it up. Okay, let me go ahead and put this down. So yeah, I want to try and do that swap. So I'm going to talk to my learned colleague, and you'll see her name is Keely. Isn't that cool? I love that name. It sounds Hawaiian or Samoan to me, but I haven't actually asked her. But I love it. It's beautiful. Okay, this was one of the Project Life cards I had. And then this is just some felt. There's no pocket there. It's just some felt. And I'll show you what I'm going to be doing with that a little later. And then this is that textured paper. And then you flip this one open. And this was that piece that I had made that it just made the book too thick. And now that I'll have strips, I'll come back and do that. But I'm not going to have you guys watch me do that, because that's just cutting little strips of paper. And then this is a pocket here. So there's that. And then you flip this open. And this is just a piece of the blue paper. And then this is one of the cards that came with the 12 by 12 set. Haven't really used too many of those. And this is a pocket. Okay, now I did just glue this down, so it's a more narrow pocket than if you were to have put this with paper and made hinges. You can totally do that. I did not want to. This is a pocket here. This is from the 12 by 12, and so is this. And I just cut it here. Now what I did was I left this piece longer this way and this way. I cut it. I got it where I die cut. I set it up where it needed to be, and then I was able to make my marks to cut it the same width as this paper. And then I figured out where I wanted it cut down to make a good size for my pocket. Okay, so that's how I did that one. And then this one here, this is that acetate page that I had. It's My Mind's Eye from 2011. I've had it a long time. And I took washi tape with the gray piece of paper and the acetate. I put 1/8 of an inch score tape down. Now if you don't have 1/8 of an inch score tape, don't use the quarter, because it would, well, I didn't want to use the quarter because it would bring it too far in. If you don't have it, if you have like a glue that works on plastic, which like the Scotch Quick Dry does not, I do not know about Aleene's, but the art glitter glue does. So you could just put a glue down. But what I did was I took the gray paper and this, I took on the 3 sides the score tape, and I laid it down on the gray paper. I had enough edge all the way around the gray paper to put a little bit of glue on the gray paper and put down this wood washi tape. Just to kind of cover it up, finish it up, and look nice. And then I will put a tag in here that will be nice for her to stick her photo in. Okay? So that's that. This piece was one solid piece, but it wasn't tall enough. It was wide enough, but it wasn't tall enough. So I folded it in half and cut it. And then I had this, I think this was just in my stash. I don't know that this was part of their stuff. It was not. This was in my stash. But there's plenty of things that was in these ephemera bits that you could have used. Or you could have just used one of the round ones or whatever. But I only glued it right down the center so that you can get underneath it with your photo if you need to. And underneath on this side too. Okay? So you can still slide your photos in. So that is that. This side. This is where I stopped. Okay, so this side I am going to do a patchwork. And so this is just some copy paper. I'm not cutting my little stub. I will do that after I do the patchwork. And I am just going to do squares. I've already started cutting some squares out with my square punch. It says 1.5, but the 1.5 is from this corner diagonally across to this corner is 1.5 inches, but it actually makes a 1 inch square. Okay, so I will be putting squares on that, basically just gluing them down. And I don't think about it too much, you know, it just kind of glue them down. So that's all I'm going to do. And I've got it short because this is going to be my pocket. I haven't really done anything too much with the pterodactyl. So that's why I chose the soar with the pterodactyl. So I had a pterodactyl over here as well. And this is from that comic book page that they call it, the 12 by 12. Okay, so this page will... I'll kind of do this one off camera, and I think with this I am going to score where I need it and just fold it and cut off any excess and actually use this with hinges for the pocket. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with that one. All right, so right here I have another frame, and I think... Did I have a piece left of acetate over here? I thought I did, but it's looking like maybe I don't. So I will have to pull out a piece of acetate. This piece, let me take my paper clip off. This piece is this way almost perfect. Now it does have the hole in it, but we always can cover that up. I'm going to have to trim off just a little bit. And then the side, it wasn't long enough, so I just cut off a couple strips of this to put on the sides. And I'll come back and show you the acetate part of this, and then we're going to place it down right in this area. Okay? All right. So let me go and get some acetate for this, and I will be back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Lisa, and I think I am going to be changing out, because when I first started this YouTube channel, it was One Happy Place Creations, which is really long. Of course, what I want to change it to is not that much shorter, but it's Paper Lace and Bling, which is my Etsy store, which I guess I'm going to be opening up again at some point, and my Facebook channel. So, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, so I got my piece of acetate because I'm going to make this a slide-in pocket. I know I've got one here, but that's fine. This is just an element that I knew I wanted to use, but I didn't get to it. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to lay my acetate down. Now, you don't have to cover it all, but you do want to... I'm leaving approximately 3/8 of an inch, just so that I'm going to be getting, and I'm going to do it almost all the way up to the top. Let's see, is that what I want to do? No. I'll put it down about the 3/8 of an inch as well. Get that little mark on there. Okay. So, let me cut this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my acetate piece cut and I put my 1/4 inch score tape just around the inside edge of the back of the frame. So that's what I'm going to stick this to. I'm also going to take this piece of paper, which I believe I have to cut a little bit. Yeah, let me make a little mark here before I take it and move my book off. Just a little teeny snaggle. Let me go ahead and cut this. And get, okay. Alright, so let's take the score tape backing off. Excuse me. And I think I'm going to make this one more like a actual frame than I did the other one, where it's just on the top flap, where it's just where you slide it in, and the room you have is the room you have. I did burnish this as well. I just didn't show you, but I did burnish it as well. Okay, let's see if my rag helps at all with the markings on it. A little better. Alrighty, here I got it all. And then we're just going to lay it down and burnish it so it gets adhered well to the score tape. Oh yeah, baby. Okay, so this is going to fit perfectly onto here. Well, it is just a teeny tiny bit smaller, but that's okay, because let's see what I have. Oh, wrong one. Let's see what I have in my, is this gonna work? Oh, I do believe so. So let me get this. Using up those scraps. Yay! I've been trying to come up with some stuff to utilize the, the decorative paper scraps are a lot easier to come up with stuff for instead of just the solid cardstock scraps. So, been trying to come up with something that we could use that for. So what I want is, let's go ahead and get our little scoreboard out, and we're going to make a score line. And this is, let's see, this is 4 inches, which is, this is a 4x6 card, so this is going to fit perfectly. I'm going to do a 1/2 inch score. Lay this off because we're going to need it in a second, so don't put it away. Let's burnish that. We're going to come back over here. And this, my frame is actually a little bit, and I don't know why it looks crooked. Let me see, hold on a second. Okay. I mean, it's not off by much, but there is a little teeny. Does that look better? Yeah, it's more straight now. Okay. Anyway, so now I've got that, and I'm going to make a mark right on our backing and make a score line right where I made the mark. And this little hole that's right here is not going to be involved because it's not going to show. All right. And then let's just, well, no, I'm going to use my cutter so what I have is nice and straight. If I cut it off with my scissors, you know me, it's not going to be straight. Oh, I forgot to turn my... Oh, well, somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, guys, let me see who that is, and I shall return for the next... Oh, and I'm sorry. There we go. That's much better. No wires. I'll be right back. Okay, little chickadees. So now I have this. Okay, this is what I've got right now. All right, so I am going to... Well, it would have been easier to do this without having this on there. I was going to flip this over and draw the frame area, but I've already put the... Let's see if I can get this up without damaging anything. No, poodle head. Okay, so I'm just going to have to measure in. Wait, so there's always a way around stuff. Okay, so let's see. Measuring this bottom of the frame, it is 3/4 of an inch. Or, of course, yours is going to be different, but I'll tell you centimeters as well. A small, no, let's see, 1.9 centimeters. Okay. So I am going to make sure that, let's see, I want a little bit of frame up and down. So I'm going to put this at 7/8. And let me flip it around this way. So the writing is on the back side. And am I even? Yes. So I'm going to put a mark. And then we're going to come down here. Put it on 7/8 and make a mark. And same with this side. I didn't go all the way to the edges because that part's going to have to get cut as well. So what do we have here? Basically, it is 3/4 of an inch all the way around. Yes. So I'll do 7/8 all the way around. So now I'm doing my score line as the edge of my paper at 7/8 and making a line. I keep trying to make it bigger. No. All right. 7/8. That right? That's going to be pretty small. I think that was not 7/8. That was 7/8. Okay. Well, let's see. This, I think, is a little smaller. So I think I'm going to do this at 3/4 because I think this, let's see. Well, let's flip it around this way. So, what do I need to do this at? I need to do this at, not quite 7/8. Let's do it at 3/4 on the top. So 3/4. And I think I might do that I'm thinking I might do that all the way around is the 3/4, but I do, Yeah, let's just do 3/4 all the way around, because that's just going to make it so tiny. So, sorry. Redo. But this is a nice reason why doing this on the back, so you don't have to see all these lines. And I will erase the ones I'm not going to use, so you don't get confused looking at this gobbledygook of... Okay, where's my eraser? Because this is a gobbledygook right here. Okay. All right, now, so we are going to go ahead and get our craft knife out. And we're going to cut our frame out. So, I'm sorry, I ended up in centimeters doing this at 2 centimeters all the way around. Okay? Yeah, 2 centimeters all the way around. Let's see, I do need to cross these lines, and I did not do that. Oops. Actually put the, there we go. That one's crossed, and that one's crossed. Okay. So, now we have our spacing here. There we go. One. If I don't stab myself, I will get this done. Here we go. Cool beans, almost done. See this stuff? It looks like it's hard, but it is not. It might be a teeny bit time consuming, but it's not hard. Alright, and I didn't go all the way down to the line on that one. There we go. And save that. You can use it for something. That side anyway. Back it on some paper for a tag. Okay. So now. Alright. Let's see. I think I still need to cut off some off the top because it is showing quite a bit. Huh. So, let's see. I'm going to line this up at the top. And, okay, so for some reason, it's just not lined up properly. So, because this is not as large as this, I need that to be, oh, right at 3/4 of an inch, which is what I thought it was, but maybe I need the, huh. Okay, well, I'm going to take a 1/8 of an inch off of it, because I can still see it. This is 1/8 of an inch smaller. So that's the thing I'm thinking is the issue here. All right. Line these puppies up. Too far? Where are they? Okay, there they are. Start right here and end right there. And then let's just, and I'm going to not take a shortcut because this is the front of my there we go. And this one, there we go. All right, so now, oops. Get that closed. Okay, so now let's check this out. Very good, very good. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to glue this down to this, and then this will just make the pocket that the paper will slide into. Okay, does that make sense? So then this will go down on our page, and then you'll be able to slide your paper down in between here. Okay, so let's go ahead. Where's my eraser? Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to put this at the bottom, so it's, let me double check that we're going to fit doing it that way, and we're not, so I'm going to put it at the top. It doesn't matter, it's not going to be seen, because there we go. Cool beans. Cool beans. Okay, so this is going to go right on top of that, and I'm just going to start sticking glue all over the front of this. Another way that you could have done this was just create hinges and glue them on here, but I felt like this might give this a little bit more stability. So that's the reason I did it this way. Stay away from the score lines. And I think I picked it up and put it on backwards. Okay, even though I laid it down and really tried to make sure I was doing it right, I still did it wrong. But it is okay. It is okay. Let's burnish this down. Very nice. This coming through the hole. Okay, now none of this is going to show because it's all going to be down onto our paper. And this is our paper right here. And there we go. Isn't that going to be cute? And then, you know, we can always do a little, you know, like you can hang a little something from it, or you can put across the bottom, I love dinosaurs, which I think I might do. I might do both. I might do both. You know, it's just like that. It's that quick. You just find something you really like, and you know, sometimes it works that way and sometimes it does not. Maybe I'll put this right there, and it's got a hole through it, and the paper's got a hole through it, but I don't really want anything in between this paper and the paper I'm putting it down on. So let me go ahead and get just a little snippet off of my corners. And let's glue this down. Oh my goodness gracious, I tell you, my poor husband's got kidney stones. Oh my gosh, and he has just been so miserable the last couple of days. Yeah, so we haven't really done a whole lot. Not that we do a whole lot anyway, but, you know. It's really been not a whole lot. Okay, I didn't get that down quite far enough. There we go. There she blows. Beautiful. Get out of there. Okay. So let me bring the book back. And remember, we have this little strip and this little strip. Let me go ahead and get those down. And I am just going to make a little pencil mark. Let's see. A little bit more. Okay. Not perfect, but it's okay. It's okay. So, and I don't need to cut, you know, smooch this because it is a solid core orange. Now I have to first, before this dries, make sure, of course I couldn't glue it on over the top of it. Make sure, yeah, I'll have to glue right on top of it, so that's fine. You start going any thinner of a strip, and you're just going to have problems. And see, that is so aggravating. It keeps moving. It just does not want to dry on this paper very well at all. Yucky. Okay, so let's do this one. It's not very easy to cut this because of the little nodules and such. But I did do a better job on that one than I did on the first one. But, you know, practice makes perfect. And I am recording and you are hearing me. Yay. I had a lady email me or, you know, leave a comment on one of my videos and said, you had no sound. And I said, I'm sorry. It's about 6 minutes in, and then I fill you in on everything. So I'm assuming she went back and waited and listened. And I did put it in the comments, but I know not, you know, in the description box, but I know not a lot of people actually read those. So, let's see. Now, one thing I can do is just fill it in. No, because that looks a little funky. Okay. What do I have? What do I have in these little jobbies? Let's see. Oh, I have a button. I have a button. I have a button. And I have this orange, or I have the blue and brown. You know what? I think I might do both. I have a little bit of this blue and brown left, and I have this orange. So, let's see if we can get these into the hole. Okay, so where is my... Almost pushed everything off. So when you can't get something through, I don't know if anybody remembers this old, you put some tape on it and oops, you get back in there on that tape, Missy, and then you fold it and then give it a little trim job. And now I think I have a good enough piece to pull through. Yeah. So just a little tip for you guys when you're trying to do something like this. Put a piece of tape on there. Okay. So there's those two. And this one, and I want these two to come up too. Let's see. Probably will have to get another piece of tape. Yeah. Let me just get a snaggle of tape. This is just regular, well, this is satin finished gift wrapping tape. How exciting. Now, I got a much smaller piece this time. So you just kind of lay it across where you have something that you can fold over and then fold over again. It's not going to really stick, but you can hold it. And then you can run those pieces through the hole. Let me trim this. Get a nice point on the top. Once you get that point in there and grab it, you'll pull the rest of it up. Voila. Okay. And then I'm just going to tie it in a knot. And I'm going to, I want those, nah. I'm just gonna trim them off. Fairly short. And I'll put those two, who knows. Okay, so I think I will put that one on there once we have it down. So let's go ahead. Might have left this unplugged. Oh no, there we go. Might have left it unplugged a bit too long, but it decided to work. See, this is a 6x6, but since I didn't cut off that little strip, you get, you know, basically extra paper. You just have the hole to contend with. But that's easy. We're just going to line it up with our orange. Oh, 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 oh. I'm going to get this all messed up. Well, that wasn't very good. It didn't need that. I should have just tried to cut it. So, yeah. I will fix it. But let me try and get this to stick first. All right, let's see. So here is some more of the, which I love. I love using this sandpaper. So I'm going to just glue this on the top and then manually cut it out. Let's see. Just gonna draw where I need to cut. How's that? Made sure I cut all of that off. I hope I've been doing this on screen. And then I'm just going to lay it down. And that's going to work out perfectly. And it's adding more texture, more texture. My little 4-year-old, they gotta love the texture. It's all about feeling and learning. So this will work just fine. And I'm still going to use my button. But this will clean up that top a good bit. Clean up that top a good bit. There we go. And then I think I am still going to use my button, although how... Oops. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. If not, I'll be able to pop it off. But I will leave it until... And I think I will put my little I Love Dinosaurs down here because I really like that. I'm dry as a bone here. I know you guys have heard me talk about the Funky Junkie. She's in Gainesville, Florida, I believe, but it's an online shop, so anywhere. And she was, I'm just going to do the half. So I'm just going to put across the half, so it'll be a little tuck spot and we'll probably put a little tag or something there. And I'm just realizing that I haven't put my tape on. I had it on earlier today, and my husband says, "Why? What's wrong with your arm?" And I said, "Nothing, why?" And he said, "You got tape on it." I said, "Oh, no. That's so I don't drive my peeps on YouTube crazy with clink, 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 clink all the time." Do I want to do that? I think I will wait on that. Or I can just, see? How cute. I will probably back that, but I'm going to leave that right there. And I might put a little bit of that orange. If I use that button, I'll put a little bit of that orange on here, and that'll bring some orange down. Perfect. Okay, so now this flap and this flap are done, yes. Except for the inside. And what do I have? Okay, so for this, I have this piece, and I am going to put it all the way over to my right, and I believe, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of cutting off that needs to be done. So I'm going to set it up the way I want it on the bottom piece. Let's see. You still can't see me. Still can't see me. There. So, get back over there. I am going to lay this across the bottom where I want my little piece to, and it puts me right up on the score line. So I am just going to take off a sliver. There we go. This should put me off of that score line all the way. Let me do just another little sliver. And I'm talking, let me show you. That's what I took off. Focus. I took off a sliver. That's what I love about this cutter. I can get it exactly how I want it because it does so wonderfully. So let me re-ink this. And I'm going to have the hole at the top of this flap because I already have backed one of these little pieces, and that's going to go, it's actually going to go in the center, but it will still cover up the hole. And then I took and did a strip already. This is off from the 12 by 12, and so that's ready to be put on. I'm going to go ahead and it's inked up, and I got the corner cut already. Okay, so put this right along there, and I see that I have a pencil mark that needs to get, oh yeah, I remember that one won't come off. I don't know. I was trying to get that off before. I forgot. Okay, so we've got this down. I'm going to let that dry. And then for this, I took a inch piece of paper and I scored it at the 1/2 inch mark, folded it over. Then I have this piece and this piece, and they do very nicely together, matting wise. So first, let me think. How was I going to close this? How was I going to close this?